Hello world, it's Rick again, and today as promised I'm going to get this one close enough. No, camera can't see it over here. Do some transplanting. You can see the Miracle-Gro bag behind me. This is our first subject, I'll call it. Now if you've been watching my other videos, you know that this one is, look close enough to it, you can see that it's growing, but it's just in one direction up. It's not like this plant here, which is also going to get transplanted, where you can see, look, there's multiple leaves and it's branching off. Also has the beginnings, put that up there, a flower. This is how the flowers start on basil. And from here, it'll sprout out little blooms, which is something we don't want. So the first thing we're going to do on this one, before we even transplant the other one, is to put that off. And that's our first objective. Now this one has grown enough, so you're not in too much danger, and you can actually clip it without getting too concerned about cutting into the leaf growth that you don't want to lose. And I find that for some reason tweezers to be very effective here. Okay, so that one's gone. Like I said, I'm going to transplant this one, but not yet. Now we have this. You can see it's grown some roots, a bit more than it was the last time. Not a whole lot more, but a bit more. And I was trying to make a decision whether I was going to cut these roots off because they're so close to the top that they'll start coming out of the soil. But considering it had already cut it back a little bit, and this is all the roots it has, we're going to leave it like it is and use the pot. Here's the pot here, and I've only filled it up to, well, I can't put this back, and you're not going to be able to see it, but I filled it only up about right here. And then I drug a trench, a hole in the middle so that I could put the plant in. And what I'll do is take the plant. It had a nice big hole, so I don't have to worry about too much. Get it down to the bottom, and then all I'm going to do is shake the pot to distribute the soil around the plant. So it's almost up. You can see it's almost all the way up to the bottom leaves, which is what I was looking for. And that is our first transplant. This will go outside on my balcony. Seeing as I didn't have to cut it back, but if it doesn't succeed, it's not that big. I mean, I've got, you can see over here, I've got several cuttings here, and several cuttings here, and all of these cuttings. Now these ones are big enough to get into that pot. Yes, that one doesn't succeed, but it should. It should succeed, and that's the first one. And it'll get watered, which is just get it. The soil itself is, I mean, the potting mix is damp. So you give it some water, but you don't have to give it a whole bunch of water. And this won't get any more Miracle-Gro past beyond the potting soil. I also have Miracle-Gro there, and that would I water the smaller plants with this. This one's in such a big pot. It's relatively big. It's just going to get normal water, and possibly, depending on how fast it grows, I might start putting it under a grow lamp, give it a little bit more give it a little bit more growth spurt, hopefully. Okay, on to the next plant. I'm not using this to pot it. I just want to keep it from making too much of a mess. So here's one pot, and here's another pot. First one we're going to go with is this one. And this one is actually two plants in one starter pot. It's been cut back once already, and it's kind of growing. It's hard when people say, or have read, they don't really need direct sunlight for multiple hours a day, but the only windows I have are north facing, so I don't get any direct sunlight because of the way the shadows cast, except for maybe 45 minutes an hour in the morning and 45 minutes an hour in the afternoon, and they would have to be raised above the level of the fencing of the balcony because they don't get any, which I might do. I'm probably going to do a DIY video about making a pot holder out of PVC so I can hold the pots where they'll be slightly tilted like this. And so that they'll be able to get the morning sun, and then I can move them over in the evening so they can get the evening sun. And so they'll get maybe 45, maybe an hour and a half of time. So what you want to do, you want to kind of squeeze on the thing because you're trying to get the dirt out. It should come out fairly easy. And there you are. You can see there's good root growth. It's not terribly root bound yet. It could be, but considering that there's two plants in here and that it's been in that pot, this little pot here for, I wouldn't even venture to guess, probably 3 or 4 months, goes into here. And because we want to keep it right around the same line, just in case there's extra growth, you can actually see a little bit. Well, no, it's too dark in here, but some of the roots that started, I could explain that. Let's say this was this plant here. Well, the roots start, let's say this plant was this plant here. Okay, this one here, this. The roots start here. So if it starts to grow beyond, above that line, and it's got a long way to go to do that, the roots that were here originally will start to crop up, which is what's happening here. Not that it's a big deal. Like I said, this one's been cut back already once, and it will. This one cut back once already. So it'll continue to grow even if some of the roots are exposed. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a little bit of dirt. And just put it on the bottom so that this can have a better resting spot. Put the whole plant in there. Then fill around it with soil. This will end up being a little higher than that line, but they'll still be. And once it's watered, the soil will compact a little bit. And that was one of the issues with this Miracle-Gro potting mix. Let me tell you that it compacts a bit, and that's probably what's keeping the plant from growing as quickly as they could. So there's plant 2, rather. This a little bit here. Try to get it a little more straight. And in the middle, and this will get water. You see, I made a gallon of Miracle-Gro and I want to go ahead and give this both the soil and the water. That's another one. We have 2 plants. Now like with the other, we're going to do this one. This is one of my new plants. Now I had mentioned that I had a mint. Well, the mint kind of struggling. Oops. The mint is kind of struggling. So I decided to leave it in that pot. It's going to get more watering and more Miracle-Gro liquid. And I'm going to give it maybe a couple more weeks. Give it a couple more, a week or maybe 2 more before I decided either I'm going to transplant it or I'm going to take cutting from it, let the rest of the plant die, and then use those cuttings to make a full plant, because it's just struggling. The bottom leaves are dying out or have been dying out. And so now again, squeeze it just to release the soil. Yeah. Sometimes it's a little more stubborn. There we go. Now you can see this one came from the nursery. It's a little bit of root bound than the one I had, or it might be less. Anyway, this one I hope to get a cutting from as well. Right now it's got 3 stalks. One, a smaller one here, another one here. And it had, I think when I took a picture of it, it had 2, but it's hard for me to believe it made that much growth in just a couple of weeks, but it might have. So same treatment as the other. More soil to fill out where it's empty. And sorry, I'm sure this video is going to be a bit longer than some of the planting videos because it's taken me a while. We still have 3 more of them to go, but they'll go quickly. And you have rosemary. And that's going to get water and put outside, or at least in the window. And we'll see how that goes. All right, finally, as an experiment, these pots, we'll use them. As an experiment, I decided that I would take this little tiny one. You can have how low the camera is. Take this little tiny one here and start it growing. It's actually in pretty good shape. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got 3 sets rather. The big set compared to the other ones, they're not really big, but and then the smaller sets, and then you cannot see it because it's just too small. I don't think the camera will pick it up. Let's see. It might be a little bit fuzzy, but right in here, above the lowest leaves, are sort of a small, tiny pair of leaves, which means we have 4 sets of leaves, and maybe even possibly 5. I think I do. Yeah, there's even a smaller set than that. So this one's nothing more than put in the dirt in. You're not gonna be able to see it, but there's a hole. So I can stick my finger in there. It's big enough to put the plant in. Put the plant in there. Keep the leaves above the rim, just so that they don't get. And then this is better. Now we do this by hand now. Now this one I'm going to water later because it doesn't have any anything to hold on to, I'm going to water it and then put it out, or just water it outside so that the water can just, whatever extra water can leak away instead of on the floor. That's one more. Now, decided I tried two different things here, or three different things. I'm going to do it with just one, and that was just one plant, or one cutting. And then I'm going to do two, and then three. So this one I'm going to put 2 holes in. On each corner, well, away from the corner, but close to it. And then this one's going to be a little difficult. Need to get the things in there. And then this other one goes in the other hole. And you want to make sure that the roots are facing down. They're going to grow whichever way they feel like they will. But starting off that way is the best idea. So I just kind of manipulate the soil a little bit, mash it around, and that one will get watered like the other. And so this will be 2 plants, in which case I could actually separate them if I felt like it. When they get big enough, then I decide it's time before they get root bound, and put them into their own pots, like normal size pots. Like this. We still have an issue over here. I want it to stay. And finally, one more. And then that'll be the end of the video. You see, I've got pots left over. This one's going to get 3. Now, these are all small, as you can see. Small little plants. This one's actually will actually be bearing this set of leaves because it's too far down. And we'll see how this works too. I just want to see how much crowding it can afford, because I'm trying to get these to be bushy. That's one of the problems I've had, is trying to get, and it's because I don't really maintain them as well as I should. Like, say this one here, somebody might trim it back all the way to these leaves to promote growth, so it's not growing so tall. But I'm going to go ahead and leave them that way. Otherwise, I could start another cutting from this little bit, but they usually don't grow very well, if at all. So I'm not as good at keeping up with them as I should be. Another one in here. And it's just the same procedure one more time. Down in the bottom. This one is going to be a little less cooperative because the roots are a bit longer. And then this one is all on the bottom too. So get those roots down, squeeze the soil to loosen it up. And these are all get water just like all the other ones. When you transfer to a new pot, see, I'm always looking for them. You want to make sure water when you transfer to a new pot. So that's what we did today. We put that one long stalk in a big pot. I think that's a 12-inch pot. The rosemary in an 8-inch pot. The the basil has been cut back already once. It was in a starter pot into an 8-inch pot, and then 1, 2, and 3 basil cuttings in 3 separate pots. So you have 1 in one pot, 2 in the second pot, and 3 in the third pot. These are all, those are experiments. These pretty much I believe will work out. The one that was cut back, it's just a matter it needs to grow. And that's probably going to be one of the ones I try to put in get an extra grow light. So try to give it a few hours in the morning or time, they've got a grow timer, a few hours in the morning, maybe a few hours in the evening, and then, or I might just leave it like it is. Right now I don't have any really basil to use, but like I said, I'm trying to work on getting these to where they grow, they get bushy, and where they're going to create more dense leaf structures. Oh, one other thing. One of these is going to be the next one to go in a 12-inch pot, I think. And I'm tempted to use these single stalks, but I want to go with this one. This one has several branches. And all I'm going to do is put this back into the water by itself. Leave these alone for right now. And that's going to be another one to go in a 12-inch pot. And I might even be able to cut it back some before I transfer it. So that's pretty much it. I will probably try to give an update on this, even though it'll be over. Like I said, I'm not sure what direction I'm going with these channels anyway. I think I might start a channel and a community. No, I'm not. In this case, this is going to be with this move from this channel, which is Project Beta, to my channel called the Green World Initiative. And that is also a community. So I'll be posting updates on that, on the plants that I'm doing on that community, if I don't do another one between now and the end of beta, which is on Wednesday. But from then on, any videos that have to do with plants will be in that Green World Initiative. And I'll probably also try to share other videos that deal with green living and whatnot, because that's what the Green World Initiative community is about. As far as other videos, well, like I said, I have got several other communities, and I'm looking in the directions of, a little hot in here, looking in the direction of getting videos to those communities to help boost their numbers. Right now, the Green World Initiative has like 50 members. I neglected it for a year, and it really is. It's a slow starter. I'm not sure why, because I have a green technology one that's got almost 100 times more community members. Right around, right around 70 times more community members than this one does. And this is actually the smallest. The Green World Initiative is the smallest of my communities. I don't know why. I would think that people are, there's plenty of interest in it, because I know some of the other green communities have good numbers. But being that I'm going to be persistent and continue trying, I'm just going to keep working on it, see if this is going to improve the numbers. If I can try to double that by the end of the year to 100, or maybe even get it to 150, that would be great, because that would get the word out, which is what I'm trying to do. But being green. And on that note, this is the end of the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe. As I said, this will transition from SSS Beta to probably just a combination of all the videos I do from all my channels. So they'll all be posted and reposted for the people who are just generally interested in just that one aspect. They can see it on the community. If they're interested in all the videos, then they can watch it, just so that I don't overload some people. But keep an eye out, and we will see you next time. Bye.